he would have probably been a Pentecostal holiness Christian. But
Instead, he was a bootleg.
no, he was a preacher, but he's bootleg. He was the Baptist. He was a preacher.
Before my dad used to tell us, before he went off to insane asylum.
Grandma put him in the insane asylum.
Before he went off there, he was a Pentecostal preacher in that area, and he would, the Pentecostals were so hated at that time that they would they'd come through and shoot their coal lights out. And then he had a brother George, and his brother George did something, and so he sided with his brother George. Daddy said it was wrong. He sided with his brother George. So his brother George, they were after him. They became fugitives because Papa sided with his brother George. They were out to kill both of them. So they started living in the haylofts. And during that time, then Dad, what we would call Dad, was pregnant. Back then they called him insane, so they put him in a hospital. And then that's when Grandma for
Done her wicked thing. Done her wicked thing.
Yeah, that's what they just told me. So then when he went to serve, when he come back out, they got back together again.
That thing with George and reached over into Papa Bradford's family, because that was his name Wilson that married Papa's niece.
Yep, it was.
And that was a friction, because there was some shooting went on there, that crossed over, and Dad never did accept Wilson and that whole family.
He hit Dad one time.
Huh?
He hit Dad one time.
Well, who shot at Dad at the Pathfork church when he was holding Don in his arms there was getting ready to leave, and that church had, you remember that light that come out of the church and it was on the end of a pipe? You remember that? It was right on the steps where you went in the church. And Dad was standing there talking to somebody, and he shot the hat band off his hat.
What was the guy's name?
Willis Howard.
Oh yeah. Well, but then afterwards, Wilson was supposed to get saved.
Who?
Willis Howard, did he get saved?
Yeah, him and Dad got to be big buddies. Started courting together.
They shot the man off of his head.
But that was about 40 years after that,
Well, he finally turned to the Lord.
Starlin Martin, wasn't it?
Started Martin, yeah.
Starlin Martin.
Yeah.
But now Matthew, he had his problems with Willis Harder Jr.
Well, where did Starlin Martin come? What's Starlin Martin?
Starlin Martin was part of the group that killed our uncle.
Yeah, yes.
They actually took
Him and Sam Polly.
Herman Rourke.
Huh?
Herman.
Herman Rourke,
Yeah.
yeah.
Harmon and Lester.
Harmon
And
Rourke?
Lester.
Yeah.
Herman and Lester, they all
Yeah.
spent at least
Lester
10 years
Rourke.
in the pen.
They knew he had 6 shots in his gun. And they kept firing at him until he run out of shots and they could.
So I'm really confused now.
But it's Jesse Relic one, I'm not sure which one.
So
That
Dad
is
had two
brother.
That was
brothers,
Alec.
Jesse and Alex.
Jess
Jess
and Alec.
and Alec.
Yeah, they were buried right there. You said it's a Upon
Cemetery.
Cemetery.
Yeah, both of them.
The way I remember it, you went down, you forded the creek.
No more.
And then you went up on the hill, as you come out there. And the
Just before you got to Uncle Brett's.
Cemetery was just on the left.
Okay,
When
so
put
they
that new
both,
road in there, you didn't ford the creek, you went down into the cemetery, and then they come in and they stripped all that and they pushed the spoil right down over the cemetery, covered it up.
Wow.
We used to go over and clean that thing off, and there was hundreds of copperheads.
Yeah. I know.
You couldn't get in there hardly without running a copperhead out there.
If I can find, I got a video that would be the year before Daddy died. I think though, I think it got erased. But I went with him to Brownish Creek in Pathfork, and he showed me the slab where one of them was killed. And we went on down at that time when they had a house, big rain coming, and a house slid down down off the mountain into across the road. You remember that? I was just there for like a weekend or something. And I think it was the summer before he died, because I told him I said, I didn't want to go back down and set the camera here in the car and we drive along and talk. And but we videoed, I think I might have even videoed where Jess and Mother's grave was. But
That's where Papaw Daniel buried, ain't it? Was Papaw Daniel buried there in that cemetery?
Where?
Or is he buried up on the hill?
He's buried up there by Dad.
Oh, okay.
That's on the solar system.
On the south side there. Wow. Yeah.
Nephew, the other thing we was talking about,
Huh?
Nephew, he had that problem with Wilshire Jr.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And that's one reason Matthew, Dad named Matthew, because he was, I think they would probably end up killing each other. Or,
Yeah.
So Alec and,
he's married to.
the two boys, what were they, Alec and George?
Jess and Alex.
Yes, they were both killed.
And I've got that article somewhere in the computer where, Mark, you had it, you still got that article where Grandma Lizzie was trying to find her children?
Yeah.
Mark has got the article out of hard paper years ago,
Uh-huh.
and she's got an article there wanting to find her children. That's
And
not
that would have
it.
been Aunt
That is not
Margaret.
in, that is not in there.
That would have been Aunt Margaret
And Dad.
and
And
Dad.
that, and Chestnut.
No, Jess and Alex came out after. They were after Dad and Aunt Margaret went to the orphanage.
There, I might accept Daddy, but Daddy told me that they were in the home too.
But they were both
They may have been in a
killed.
home, but they didn't go when Aunt Margaret and Dad went, because they were younger than those two. They were younger because Dad and Aunt Margaret were sent to a orphanage because of who's that gal that run around with Flora Mars?
Mary Jane Smith.
Mary Jane Smith. Mary Jane Smith lived
There's Millie.
just down from where Uncle Britt lived and around the corner. Remember those houses?
Yeah, I remember her living there.
Okay, well, she was raised down there, and she said that Uncle Britt would ride a horse. Said he had these beautiful walking horses, big black. Said he'd ride a horse up and down that creek, and Dad and Aunt Margaret would be trying to find crawfish, and most of the time they were naked. And they were trying to find crawfish to eat. And Uncle Britt would whip them with a quirt and tell them to get home and get clothes on. And those people around, did they call that Smith, Kentucky? Is that what?
no, that's not Smith.
Cubby.
Huh?
Cubby.
Well, whoever that was, the people got together and said, or went to the authorities, because of Uncle Britt was mistreating Dad and Aunt Margaret. And when they went and investigated it, they took Aunt Margaret and Dad away. Well, he was 6 years old. 6 or 7 years old.
So he was born in 1906.
Okay.
So that'd be 1912.